Okay, so good morning again, everyone. Welcome to the workshop on AI and gender. Why are so many robots female by Dominika Čupková. First, let me say some important information. That's that this festival has been supported and this event also by Abacus Foundation and using public funds provided by Slovak Arts Council and the City of Prague. Important information also for you here in Zoom is that this event is being recorded and live streamed. So there might be some people following what we are doing on YouTube and our homepage. And then during and after this event, you can also make use of our Discord channel, where we have a dedicated text channel to this event. So if there is some interesting discussion and then the event ends, you can head to Discord and continue talking later. I will share the link to the Discord in the chat. And also, please, if you are making some pictures of your progress during the workshop, show us these pictures, share it with us using hashtag Uroboros Nest or Uroboros Festival. So thank you for joining us and dedicating your time for this workshop, where we will explore various issues women face in the digital environment. We have Dominika Čupková here. She's a designer, cyber estate, and independent researcher on the verge of AI, art, and design. And in her recent work, AI, Excuse Me, she tries to hyperbolize the sociological phenomena of over-apologizing, especially in the that women in the workplace tend to apologize too much. And she took really interesting critical look on this with in collaboration with AI, and I'm sure she will tell you more about it. So I will give her the word now, and I hope you will enjoy this workshop. Thank you. Dominika, you have the word.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming here today and showing up and deciding to dedicate your time to do this. I will start by sharing screen. So this is just like my little warm-up slide. So about what you can expect today. But yeah, hello again. Let's start with some agenda of the workshop. I will say who I am, and we will do a little expectation warm-up. So you will also get to know the tool we are using today. And then I will explain or show some problems and concepts around gender and AI, so you have a little inspiration. Then I present also my project that Lenka mentioned, and then we will just dive into the workshop. So my name is Dominika, and I'm a designer and independent researcher on the verge of AI, art, and design. But I prefer to go as your local cyber estate. And I'm coming from purely technical academical background. I studied cybernetics and AI through my bachelor and master's. And then I did as well 2 years of PhD. But then I quit, but that is slightly different story. But I have always been interested in arts, design, and visual culture, and any art, basically in art in any form possible. And the fact that I studied AI is more like an accident than an actual dedicated decision. But anyway, what did I know when I was 18 and choosing my interests? And besides all of these, I very recently got myself a brand new job, like a normal person, and I'm a PR and marketing manager at East Slovak Gallery, and it is a pretty big one in my country, and I try to sneak in my AI skills there and redefine a bit what does it mean to be an art institution in 21st century. And we currently have an app, and it will be soon equipped with AR features, and perhaps the first and only one gallery for now in our country. And besides all of that, this January, I co-founded Slovak chapter of Ladies Wine and Design Slovakia that aims to empower women and non-binary creatives around Slovakia. And our mission here is like to see more diversity in creative industry, especially within leadership roles. And so Ladies Wine Design tried to have this intersectional approach to this. And I'm really into post-cyber feminism, and what does that even mean? Can be many different things, as you will see. So on gender and AI, like digital technologies needs to be continuously confronted with feminist methodologies of analyzing power. And today we are going to explore various issues that women face in digital environments. But in the beginning, I would like to do one expectation warm-up, and I would send you the link to Miro, or somebody from the team can send you the link to Miro. Or is it already there because I sent it, but maybe no.
Just a second.
Do I need to stop sharing screen, Blanka?
It depends. If you are planning to show slides still, then. But if you are going to Miro, then please stop sharing the screen, and
yeah,
I will share. Yes.
Okay. So people can see.
Yes.
The ones that are watching maybe live on YouTube.
Thanks. So I'm sharing screen, but you feel free to leave Zoom and go to your browser where you have Miro.
Yeah. We are gonna use Miro today, which is pretty intuitive. And you have like on the left side, you have tools you can use. And I would like to ask you today, now for these 5 minutes, to write down what are your expectations for today, what is gonna happen, or. And you can like take the post-its from around the board and you can write on them. And you can put it on the board. This is my post-it. I hope that we are gonna have some fun and it's not gonna be boring. I will finally stop apologizing so much. Intro to the interesting topic of AI and feminism that is certainly gonna be there. Yeah, getting some more insight into the gendering of AI. Yeah, that's gonna happen as well. And I hope you will find some new ways how to look at this topic, because I think this is the goal of today. We are not gonna do some hardcore AI system, but it's more about thinking about these problems. Yeah, clear ideas about what is post-cyber feminism. Yeah, that's interesting one because nobody knows, and it is undefined by nature. But we will try to go into that as well. Cyberfeminism tasty. So if anyone has anything else, then last chance. but there are so many. I'm so glad. You have so many expectations. I hope I can fulfill some of them for you today.
Hey, that already sounded a little bit like apologizing.
Yeah. Yeah, even when I was about to say it, I was just thinking, well, because when I was preparing this presentation and I see all the concepts, and it's hard, even like when you have some stuff internalized, it's hard to break from that. Okay, I think the last two post-its come to the board. How to talk about AI, is anything gender neutral? So there is something gender neutral, or at least attempts in all of this. So I think we can pretty much go back to presentation. So can I share screen now? Okay. So what went wrong? I think we should always try to look into the past and examine what and when, or what happened. So I tried to look up the first female robot, and it's Maria from Metropolis. So the first female robot was even like, it happens to be one of the first depiction of robots. And so as long as we've been imagining humanoid machines that can think for themselves, we've been wondering what it would be like if they had female traits, including female sexuality. So this is crazy. And since then, surprising amount of artificial brains have had female bodies or personalities, like Captain Kirk and his android women, or Bionic Woman and Jetsons, or even like cartoons like Rosie the Maid. And they are just a few now on this screen, but they are way, way too many. And so the only reason why an AI would actually need to have a gender is to interact with us humans. So it's more like us, because in fact, a gender presentation might appear to be like a kind of user interface or a plugin for an AI, because AI doesn't need it. It doesn't need to reproduce. So after the seductive dancing of Maria in Metropolis, we don't see a lot of genoids until the 60s, but then the sexual revolution brings us these robot seductresses. So you start seeing these deadly, sexy bots in films like Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine. I mean, like, what's happening here? I mean, but then the big cult of Stepford wives, it was a huge cultural icon, with this fantasy / nightmare of compliant, beautiful robot wives that were in the town of Stepford. And they were actually females that were turned into robots and controlled by their husbands to be obedient and positive all the time and passive. So, but probably the most influential recent portrayal of AI with female characteristics is Her, which plays on all of our fantasies and insecurities about Cortana, Siri, and other real-life mother, lover, helper voices that we hear through our mobile devices. And so usually when AI is depicted as a female, it's often wrapped up in our anxieties about femininity. And also, like, some AIs are coded as mothers or secretaries, and whose femaleness denotes that they are helpful and non-threatening, which also in some pop culture or movies it's happened actually that they are threats. But that's just like. But let's rewind a bit to the 90s when internet happened, and that's where everything starts. So what a time to be alive indeed. But early internet pioneers predicted the techno-utopia, as you can hear it in the 1996 Declaration of the Independence of Cyberspace. Also, women in the 90s finally thought they are over it, and they celebrated the cyberspace as a place of liberation and empowerment. And so cyberfeminism happened, and this term was actually coined by VNS Matrix group. But the term cyberfeminism, it cannot be just reduced to women and technology, nor it is about the diffusion of feminism into technology. And even like the word combining cyber and feminism was meant as an oxymoron or provocation, and also as a critique of these cyber babes and fembots that's were like so many in the 80s. And also cyberfeminism is undefined by definition, and it's intentionally undefined in order to keep things as open as possible. And it reflects to this like broader tendency of this movement to favor approaches that are hospitable to different different opinions on what does it even mean. And so anyone can articulate their own vision or own personal agendas on what does it mean to be cyber feminist. And not only like, it's not just imposed on you from above, because you may be expecting some definition, but there is none, because you should be responsible for creating one for yourself. And so here comes the fall of cyberfeminism, because the term cyber has lost its luster due to the association with domestication of the digital, because our virtual and real lives and the borders are becoming blurry between many different things like online, offline, and genders. And here comes the post-cyber feminism. And so there is one very interesting reading that I suggest you to read if you are interested in the topic, because it's actually from Helen Hester, and she was there when they were creating post-cyber feminism, and now she reflects after 20 years what is with this and how can we move on and do better. Because opposed to the strong proclamation of cyber feminists of the 90s, this cyberspace has not developed into a kingdom of self-liberation and self-empowerment, but it also helps to reinforce existing hierarchies and power structures, and that is the problem we are facing today. But let's talk a bit about AI and gender now. So this is a problem. Only 22% of the people building AI right now are females. And there are many, many more problems, but the one that is the most significant and that I want to talk about today the most is bias and AI and bias. And what do we mean by gender bias in AI, and how it can be dangerous or even harmful, and why people doesn't seem to care, or at least they didn't seem to care, because this is just happening for the past 2 years. I think the huge rise in the interest in bias. And so how even the bias creep into the AI systems? And it depends, because we have different AI systems, but today I would like to talk about 3 of them. And now let's take a look how bias shows up in search engines like Google. And the public really relies upon search engines to give them what they think will be the truth or something that's credible. And it's crazy, but Google now dominates nearly 90% of searches globally. And if I would ask you like today, if you are using Google, like probably many of you would say that you are using it. But also there are some different search engines you can use. but it's not as widespread. There's this term called search neutrality that states that search engines should not favor specific content, but sadly, search algorithms do not use objective criteria in generating lists of search results. So what is happening is that this is happening. Like when you search for Google unprofessional hairstyles for work, it shows you can guess which one Google picked as unprofessional and which one picked as professional. And how is this possible? How is this happening? So this algorithm that Google has is reflecting upon the conversation of people in forum, and they were just, or blog posts, and they were just asking, for instance, it is so unfair that my neutral afro is considered unprofessional at work, and the algorithm just takes natural afro and unprofessional at work and connects them to the image without really understanding this bias implicit of the connection. And then this happens. But that's not the only thing. Try to Google hands and you will see just white hands, or try to Google schoolgirl and you will see this, well, sexualized version of schoolgirl. But when you Google schoolboy, this is not happening. That's not the same for the boys. So, but there are many more examples, and I would like to suggest, if you want to read more on this, you can read the great book Algorithms of Oppression by Safia Umoja-Noble. And then we have another problem with bias, and this is with voice assistants. So smart devices are colonizing the consumer electronics market, and Alexa, Siri, or Cortana are now highly familiar household names. However, voice assistants can contain several types of bias. And besides, the one I'm not going to go in deep today is the accent bias, but we are going to go more deeper on gender bias. And also you have probably noticed that all of these assistants, mainstream voice assistants, have female names. And so if we are creating the interactions that encourage consumers to understand the objects that serve them as women, then we are perpetuating this more and more, that people are going to see women as objects or servants. So smart devices are designed to serve the needs of their owners, and doing things like shopping lists and kitchen timers and to-do lists. And these tasks are historically associated with female qualities, and it reinforces this association. And also, so for instance, when you call your Alexa like a stupid bitch or something, then she politely declines, and that is also a problem because it doesn't teach the offender anything about like consent or about how to behave with women. And also, if voice assistants are abused with language like "can I F you" or "you're a slut," and yes, this happens a lot, people are trying the boundaries, their response can be even flirtatious, or they just does not compute. And these abusive remarks are sexualized because of the way the devices are gendered. That is the problem. And then people like learn that it's okay for women to think of them as a submissive through the interaction with voice assistants. And this is reinforcing their existing unconscious biases. And one more thing, maybe you heard, maybe no, but let's take a look at bias in recruitment. So the most obvious advantage of AI in recruitment is screening through a high volume of CVs, which allows crunching multiple data sources in a fraction of time that it would take human. But recently, Amazon had to scrape their new recruiting tool powered by AI, because, well, the tool was ranking people on a scale for 1 to 5 stars. Okay, that is already bad, but okay. But the company had to scrape the tool because it showed it was biased against women. So in this case, a company trained the AI on CVs, like on really historical data over 10 years period. And the people applying or people working there were mostly men. And so the AI learned that anyone who has anything women on their CV was like not suitable to do the job. So they automatically rejected these applicants. And so no women got through this AI, because even if you had something like women's chess club captain or whatever, then it could be perceived as bad. And so all the women were rejected. But it seems that we are the problem, actually, because there was this case of Tay, which was an AI that Microsoft deployed on Twitter, and they wanted, the Tay was supposed to learn from the interaction with people. And it seems that we are the problem, because it took only 16 hours for Twitter to corrupt and this innocent chatbot. And the thing that was meant to be like experiment in conversational understanding was like the day in 16 hours, she became super misogynist, sexist, and racist, and Donald Trumpist. So she started, this is how it started, hello world, and this is how it's going. So you have an idea what was happening. And so they had to take it down after 16 hours, because she became rather very unpleasant creature to chat with. This is my favorite. But this is just one part, the bias, but there are many different problems, like, for instance, beauty filters, and they are changing how young girls see themselves. And the AI there is that it takes your face, it scans your face, and it finds landmarks, and it can adjust you to look whatever you want. But then also this super hypersexualized AI robot that can do whatever you want. It can even, the problem is it can even like reject you. So it seemed like you are, maybe not this one, but there is the case when they programmed the robot that you can like simulate rape, and that is a huge problem. And then also Google Translate has obviously a problem with translating gender neutral pronouns. And it translates, for instance, like she's beautiful and he's clever, and all of these different biases that we have, or prejudices. And it is happening not only in Hungarian, but in many different gender neutral languages. And so, but it's not all bad. I mean, by now you seem just like the worst. What I mean that it's not all bad, it's pretty bad, but people are trying, and there are organizations who are trying to make a difference. And just to name a few examples of what good happened or what is happening. So there is this anti-harassment chatbot Maru that can help you tackle online harassment. Super nice, and it's also built with the feminist principles that I can also share. I'm sharing that with you in Miro thing as a resource. Then there is your feminist guide to AI bias. This is actually, I was taking some slides before from this chatbot, because it explains things very like relatable, and you can understand even if you have no experience with AI. It's nice. And also built with feminist principles in mind, that, for instance, Ethixa doesn't have a gender, and it doesn't, and it never says I. It doesn't pose as a person or human. So you cannot confuse it with like to be a human. And so then we have this first genderless voice, which is amazing. I mean, I found out like a week ago, somebody wrote to when I shared this, that the name Q was some conspiracy theory or something. So I'm not sure about this name, but it's super cool that this is happening, that we have a first genderless voice, but this exists and somebody done it, but the companies are not adopting it. So why? And we don't know why, but this is the philosophy of Q. Like, you can lend it your voice by sharing it to your social media and tagging all these huge companies, because this is ready to be deployed, and we are still seeing female voice assistants. Don't know why. But then also, for instance, I didn't see if Alice is here today, but maybe she's here. She signed up, and for instance, the Touchy Feely project by Alice, where you can make your own vibrator and you receive vibrator kits, as I understand, and a workshop subscription, and it combines electronic software and customizable pleasure, and it's cool. But also, when I was telling you about the hands in Google, there is this project World Wide Web, where there are different pictures of hands in different colors, skin colors, and you can share these to your social media or to your Twitter or Facebook, and then you are just propagating the internet with diverse pictures of hands. So this is one way how to fight these things. And so then there is this my project that I developed just this year. And this project tries to hyperbolize the sociological phenomena of over-apologizing, which refers to saying I'm sorry when you don't really need to, and it happens a lot. And apologizing too quickly can come with the social consequences, especially for women in the workplaces. And this project was an exploration of AI, graphic design, and social studies. And the idea was based on the Twitter thread by user Nihatru Eats Cats. And so she just prompted the people to write, I'm sorry for being, and let their automatic keyboards finish the sentence for them. And it usually resulted in some stuff is normal, but some, like, I'm sorry for being a baguette, and I'm sorry for being a lesbian, but you're a woman, or I'm sorry for being a virgin. Like, it sounds normal, but some of them were just weird. So I look at these tweets, and I took them and I used them as my data for machine learning model. But what does that even mean? Machine learning, maybe some of you know, maybe no. So machine learning is a set of computational tools for finding and making use of patterns in data. And so I took these tweets, and they were my inputs, and then I wanted to hyperbolize this act, so I create some generative NLP model, which NLP stands for natural language processing, and I trained these inputs or these data on this model, and I get new sentences, which are even like weirder, and that was the point of it. And so even the fact that when people were writing these sentences, it was to some extent an AI, because it learned on what you are typing to your phone all the time. And then this is like, I look at it as an AI of AIs, or like some distributed intelligence, or why not both? And so then AI Excuse Me is this interactive website that shows you unnecessary apology of the day, or like you daily dose, or as many as you need, so you stop doing that in real life. So when you land on the website, you are prompted to press spacebar, and then the fun is happening. The fun, I mean, for me, because it generates the font, the colors, and the sentence on the click of spacebar. So you can never know what's gonna happen. And it inspired me sometime to find a new visual ways to say stuff. And yeah, that is the, excuse me. I'm looking at the time, we have a good time now to start the workshop. So I hope by now you have some like basic understanding of some of the problems, but I'm sure you have many more that may happen to you or to someone else in a digital space. So now I would like you to reflect on the problems, and we will go to Miro and we will do a similar exercise that we are gonna just list all the problems that comes to our mind as a women or underrepresented group in the digital space. So I stop share screen and I invite you to go to Miro. So I'm bringing everyone to me, to this screen. So we can have 5 minutes maybe on this. If we need more, we'll have more. But for now, what are the problems women face nowadays within the digital space? What happened to you? What happened to your friends? I'm gonna say something as well. Mansplaining, right? Verbal abuse, stalking, objectification, and over-representation of voice and bodies, exactly. Requirement to look perfect on social media, yeah. You can even write the ones that you heard today, just so we have them there. If something resonates with you, dick pics. So if something resonates with you the most, you can write it there, because we're going to be working with these problems in the workshop. TikTok and Instagram filters, Snapchat this for you, yeah, exactly. Unrealistic expectations, censorship of the female nipple and thereby sexualized, yeah. That is huge, and that there were some projects that were tackling this. So if we are done, maybe we can come back if nobody has anything more to add. Okay, I see nobody's adding. So, okay, I will stop the timer. And now I'm gonna bring you to the workshop. And now you will be divided into how many groups? How many are we there?
I guess 2 groups would make sense.
Yeah, I think 2 groups. So team 1 and team 2. And one group will go to breakout room and one group will stay here. But basically, before you are divided, you have this first set of tasks. Oh, somebody moved my workshop. I have to lock it. Ah! Because I forgot to lock everything. Now I lock. Okay. So now in the teams, you have different tasks. You will have 20 minutes to arrive to the first checkpoint. And if possible, I'm gonna be checking on you, how is it going, but you have this you have this map you can navigate, and you have 20 minutes to arrive to the checkpoint. So it's up to you how you divide the time. Maybe if you cannot think about some stuff, you can move on to the different and come back. But basically, there is written what you are supposed to do. But I'm gonna be coming and check on you if you are lost or something. So now we can go to breakout rooms. If I can ask someone from the team, Uroboros team. And so also, so people will know that they are team 1 or team 2. Is it possible to name the breakout rooms, or just the team 1 can stay here and team 2 is gonna be the breakout room?
That's the easiest way.
So is it already happening?
I don't know.
So the guys who, the girls who stay here, can you set 20 minutes for the room? Okay. So, and girls here, I think Michaela, Ludovica, and Kavita, you can start to work on your team 1 things.
Yeah, so I think that we can start with the introduction, if that's okay. So my name is Michaela, and I have a background in media and journalism and gender studies. And right now I am studying HR, and in the future, maybe I would like to do HR advisor on a gender. So yeah, I think that in this kind of a workshop, I can bring something from the gender studies in general. Maybe someone else can catch up right now.
Yes, I'm Dominika. Hi, I'm a visual designer, and at the moment I'm doing a master in trans identity in Zurich. Yeah, actually, at the moment I'm doing a thesis research about post-cyber feminism. So that's what's really interesting for me to follow this workshop and see what's going on outside. Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing for the moment a research, and I'm still there because it will be next year the dissertation. So dissertation, yeah, yeah. So I don't know who is.
Hi, I'm Kavita. I'm an architect by background, but I'm currently doing a PhD out here in Brisbane. And my work centers around the use of communities who experience marginalization and their use of technology towards creative placemaking. So essentially using different types of tools such as interactive fiction, geolocative media, to engage in storytelling of place. So sort of beginning to, I guess, write pluralistic stories of place. That's kind of where I'm coming from. Yeah. So I look at, I guess, in some ways about place and how that could be feminist in ways. So I'm interested in how the cyberspace is, what could that mean in terms of feminism, I guess. Yeah.
So now we go to the second
one.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel we are listened by other people. Why? Yeah, whatever. Surveillance. So now, not judge.
So as a group, are you a diverse or relatively homogeneous team?
Yes, I would say we have different backgrounds. So, but from, I don't know.
How, I guess, like, how do you identify as gender? And
yeah,
I guess, what are your pronouns? That's
okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your backgrounds, race, gender, it's all not just. So what we should write, like maybe we write, the pronoun and then the background and then I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's
race.
good. For some reason, I'm unable to use. Oh, there you go. Okay, problem solved. Never mind.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, do we just write our names and then?
Okay, maybe we do like she, her.
Race. I don't know. How do we define race here?
White. It's I would say white too. But okay. We are, wait. Michaela, can you move the
Yeah, I can. Of course, I can try.
Or if you want, I can do
Or
it for you. Just the.
yeah,
Oh no, you can.
it's okay. It works. But thank you.
Yeah, well, why? Okay, I'll make it smaller. Yeah, there is not much space. Right. Uh, oh, okay. Wow. So, go on. Diverse in terms of genders. Sexuality. Oh, okay, we can continue to write something, I think. The religion, sexuality, I don't know. Okay.
Hi, how it's going? Are you coping?
Yeah,
I think we're fine.
okay,
You have like 11 minutes now.
right.
I think maybe you should move to the biases because it's maybe the most difficult part to think about your own biases. And also with the group part, the point was like, the point is if you think you are diverse now, because, well, you are 3 females now and or I hope.
But like biases towards who? Like in general?
Like your own internalized biases, unconscious one. If you are able to think about it,
That's hard.
it's hard.
Your biases, right?
Not only hard, but it's like you have to be strong to admit them in front of strangers.
Yeah, true.
I don't think it's only in front of the strangers, but like in
front
of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like a little reflection. Well, share as much as you are comfortable with. Don't feel like you need to share anything more than you are okay with. But try. It is very important step, and try to think about it. Maybe if not, if you will not manage to write stuff today, it's super important for like your life and your work. So, and I understand that people may not be comfortable with sharing them, but I wanted to put this here anyway. So, but you are doing good.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
There is an example. There is a more. You can click on the article and it shows you some examples in case you can read it now or later.
You okay? I think there is someone holding the board, so I cannot touch it. I'm not sure. What? What? Seems less. We still have 10 minutes. It was like, oh no, we're running out of time.
The problem?
What?
Should we move to the problem? The next one?
Yeah, so we can choose one that affect us most, or yeah, I do have a lot of prejudice, and I know I shouldn't with women from Islam. So yeah, I didn't brought it actually, but I don't know who brought it, but yeah, it's like even if I try to, I don't really understand wearing hijab, burqa, whatever, and in a feminist way, and so that's a big bias I have. Even if I read
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Yeah, from a feminist view, it's really hard to sometimes understand certain culture. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you want to write? Or I do have, for example, biases towards women that seems like online that seems to show their body for male. Not for like activism, and so that's.
Do you look down on them?
What?
Do you like look down on them?
What do you mean look down?
When you say biases, like how are you biased? Do you think that they're beautiful, or do you think that that's not cool? I guess.
Yeah, I think that's not cool, but I know that everyone can do what they want with their body. It's also from a feminist view, I feel like, it's really about why you should expose your body and sexualize yourself for men. And so that's a bias because,
Yeah, that's interesting point of view. I think that I see it in a very similar way, because on one hand I'm like, okay, you can do whatever you want to, because like it's your social media and it's your body and it's your decisions. But at the same time I am like, are you doing it really just for yourself because you want to, or is it like you want to attract attention? So yeah, I feel the same about this.
Maybe we can write it. I don't know what's your name? And Michaela, right?
Yeah.
And what about Kavita? Do you think
I think I have moments of that, and then it's sometimes it's taken a lot of rewiring to move away from judgment. I think like we can go with that one. That sounds cool. Yeah, not cool, I mean we can go with that one. Yeah. So I'm kind of on my iPad, so if you guys want to go ahead and just like put it up on as the problem, like just go ahead, because I have to switch between screens. It's a slightly weird on iPad.
I can just copy that one.
I liked what you wrote, like that you have biases, not mean that or not I like, but like I couldn't imagine sort of that there is also big biases from the other, like you have biases towards white people as smarter, talented.
Oh yeah, I think it's a function of the good old colonization.
The cultural
kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I guess.
You want maybe you, I don't know, you want to share more of your prejudice or biases, or you don't?
Yeah, sure. I think like in the past I have I guess now there's been a lot of criticality around this, but I think in the past, I guess it seemed like these you're fed so much media about I grew up on a lot of media about the West, and you idolize it, like, your Sex in the City and the New York streets, and you think that's the way you should be living, and, things like that. And somehow even knowledge like seemed more better and relevant. And I think as I guess in the past many years, and as I've been doing my PhD, I've begun to like reject this kind of thinking around, around the Western system of knowledge, and begun to have really deep appreciation for local indigenized knowledge, and learning from it. I think all the things that I grew up sort of revering and putting on a pedestal, it's like it's all gone for me, and I completely like look down on it now. So so I guess that actually came up in a test I did. I did a test around a bias for fun. And that came up, and I was like, ooh, yes, that test is telling me what.
That's true.
So I remember that test I did.
That's remind me a bit that I have biases, and they are really, I really feel guilty when I have these biases, but I have them. And still, when there are like, and I think it's about self-confidence, I don't know, but like towards men, when they have, in general, when they have more knowledge, or I don't know, sometimes I feel like, yes, a man has more trustworthy, I don't know what to say, than a woman. And then I ask myself, why are you thinking that it's not true? But like it's a bias that I don't control, and that's really hard to, like, you mean to admit, because I'm really a feminist. I were like, no, women are better, and no, I mean better, I mean them, they are how they are represented in society, and and that's really
really interesting that you say that. Because for me, I think it just took me a couple of years of having to deal with a mediocre man and mediocre men. And that's when I realized, like, no one's better than me. That's all it takes. so dealing with, so nothing pisses me off than dealing with a mediocre man. Mediocre women is fine, but mediocre man just makes me angry.
Yeah, because that mediocre man can reach really high position, even if it's
like they
mediocre,
get
and the
promoted
women
over
can't.
you. I mean, that's happened to me. Like, they're promoted over me. They speak over my work. My work is represented by them. And I think that has changed for me in the past couple of years, where I'm like, if I don't speak for what I do, no one else is going to, or someone else is going to take credit for what I do. And when I say someone else, I mean a mediocre man will take credit for what I do. And that's no more permissible by me. So I think I have a lot of anger with that.
It's I hate when I have this biases and I'm like, I cannot control them even.
Oh, but thanks for being so open. I mean, and sharing, like, really, really appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's no problem. I thank you also for sharing. I mean, I think it's easy when you share something and you don't know the person, because it's just I don't feel I cannot share things. That's a privilege. I don't know.
This feels like group therapy, which is great.
With people you don't know, it's like even funnier.
Great.
But so what we write, so we brought Bayer, okay, we can also write it in another way, or we can also put or put two, but maybe we just have to write one. So.
No, we can go with just one, just to make it simpler. And then maybe we should elaborate, why is it a problem? What is the harm? Who is impacted the most? And why do we need alternatives? Yeah, that's sort of like an explanation, broad explanation. So
2.5. So why it is a problem? What is the harm? I really like that it's written la la la.
It's so Dominika style.
I see, I didn't want it to interrupt you, but I see you are doing really well. So
thank you.
I just have a question. Is it like, why is it a problem? Why is it a problem that I have a bias like that?
Why is it the problem you chose?
Okay.
Like for you to think more about all different angles on this problem. You have like 3 minutes now, so.
Oh.
But I think it's cool. You are cool. And you can even add more post-its or more texts from the panel, if you need. I like the sentence, are we really attention seekers? So we have one last minute before we get together with the second group.
Yeah, I think it's really similar to the biases people have towards sex work, I think. And yeah, because actually in my research, I'm going through cyber feminism and sex work. Yeah, it's like really affecting the feminist view, sort of. It's really hard for feminists to accept sex work. I don't know, that's what my sharing.
So we will wait now for the group 2, or is everybody here already? Ludovica, Dominika, and I hope Camila can come back here if her Wi-Fi is okay. Yeah, I think we are all back. So how do you feel? How are what's happening? How are what are your reactions? Give me like one word. How do you feel?
Positive.
Are you coping? Is it okay for you to work like this? Did you manage to come to the checkpoint? I heard you had some interesting conversations going. I really enjoyed listening to that. So now we are at the checkpoint. And in a while, the second part of the workshop will happen. I think all of you are off to a good start. And in this second part, maybe Lenka, if you can zoom on the sixth.
Yeah.
So I didn't say much about AI, but I think enough for you to kind of understand that it's not like there doesn't exist this like a AI brain or something, but it is just the AI can do some tasks based on the data you give it to them. And so I prepared these cards based on the cards of Olenka. They're just a simplified version. And there are different things that AI can actually do. So now in the second part of the workshop, I want you to pick the AI superpowers. I stole the name from the yesterday workshop, but my view on AI superpowers is that you may not know what AI is, but you have these like things listed, what you can do with it, like tasks. For instance, you can generate images from text, or you can, for instance, in my project, I was generating new text based on initial sentence or based on something. So maybe try to go over these and just pick the ones that you are most interested in or that you think could be useful for your problem. Like when you have problem, the group 1, biases towards hypersexualized bodies online, maybe you will think that you may use something from image part or recognition part, maybe even video. And but feel free to choose this. Maybe for now it can be even more things that you are interested in or that sparks curiosity. And then there is the second window. It's the final window. You will try to brainstorm in a group a digital product that reflects upon the problem you have chosen. So it can be either a tool to spread awareness, like for excuse me, was the tool just to spread awareness and to have a discussion about the problem. But you can even try to solve it or to look at the problem in a different way. And it can be whatever you want. It can be app, it can be website, Instagram filter, it can be many different things. I'm trying to think, but I will try to give you more example if you'll be stuck during the rooms. And also here you have blank space where you can create the mood board for your product or project with all your notes, pictures from the internet, maybe links to video. And we will have 20 minutes for all of these. So we will see if we need more, but now it's 28. So we'll have 20 minutes and then we will come back to wrap up and to present our products. So enjoy and have a little bit of fun if you want. And yeah, I would like to ask the team to create the breakout room. And I will set a timer 20 minutes and we will see.
So the same people in the
Yes.
Before, okay.
It would be interesting to change the groups, but
would not work with the
yeah.
directions in Miro.
So okay, I'm gonna set the timer. Are the rooms created or because I see everybody here? So
Perhaps Jonas is working on it.
okay, so I will stop the timer.
Are you?
The breakout rooms for 20 minutes.
Return to the same.
Are we? What's going on?
Can maybe we send also to our breakout room?
Yeah, would that be possible?
Well, then we would have nothing going on the live stream.
Okay.
But yeah, like I don't know. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable about this discussion. So if you really like have a problem with that and would like to discuss something very uncomfortable, then maybe we can do something about it.
But still there will be people on the main section, right? We are.
How do I undo what I just did?
Okay.
So can we continue like we did the first round? Are you okay with it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then perfect.
Yeah.
No. I'm not sure I understand. Okay.
I think like based on our biases, we have to come up with some kind of idea that we want to experiment with. I mean, on the bias sort of problem. And I'm more geared towards just doing something fun with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I would like to generate fake images of fake people.
Yeah, I like that one too.
But it's
so like detect
deepfakes.
humans and their pose.
Ah, okay. I didn't want to. Sorry.
So shall we move it to?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, go for it.
generate image of fake people.
Okay.
Yeah, and we would need some recognition, like detect humans and their poses and image and video. And detect face features. So I would take this as well. Seem to move very well. Oh, there you go.
And it's
So this is kind of the output. And
really
then,
cool. Detect humans in their poses. Detect futures.
And then we transfer.
Oh,
fuck. I can't do what I'm trying to do. Yeah, there's only so much you can actually do on
generate.
Nope, that's not working. How do you get an arrow?
Generate human faces on voice input. Like if the voice is super sexualized, what came out? You know, I don't know. Transfer aesthetic. Oh yeah, that's cool. Detect humans and their poses. Detect face feature. Yeah, I cope really bad with short time, so I'm like, oh fuck, what I have to do.
Oh, don't worry. As long as you're just like fine with whatever's going on, I guess.
So brainstorm a digital product that reflects upon the problem you have chosen. Ha. Yeah. A name of the concept. Ha. Yeah. Okay. So, what did you imagine that you choose the? So you want to generate fake image of images fake people that has a certain aesthetic and poses. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
so
maybe
even the images that are created are more like I feel like they would steal pixels from other images and stitch something together, but you might not even get like a person in the image. You just get like this pixelated weird thing going on, which is very glitchy and nobody understands what it is. And so I feel like we take the bias that we have and we sort of turn it on its head, you know, like the problem isn't a problem, right? It's not really a problem. It's not, it's sort of like generating some kind of, I guess, art out of it, which I think can be very therapeutic. What are your thoughts?
so. What would be like? But do we have to solve the problem or like to make the problem more extreme? Maybe would be interesting. So more, yeah, like this bias. So okay, yeah, I'm thinking. But if it's both that generate image basing on the images on social media, that seems to be more like yeah, I mean sexualized, but it's hard to get which one.
I sort of feel like the name of this concept is like hyperpic. So like dick pic, but hyperpic. And it's like, you know, you're generating these hyperreal images of people, but these hyperreal images don't actually make any sense. It's just this generation, and it has no purpose in life other than to be fun.
Hyperpeak. Yeah, why not? I mean, but these people, what's with the sexualization? So
Yeah, Michaela, is it Michaela? Am I saying your name right?
Yeah, you can pronounce it Michaela. It's completely okay. I just like your idea. I'm completely surprised how clear it is. Yeah, you're just so straightforward, but I like it.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
it's completely okay. No, don't be sorry. The trick is not to be sorry for that.
Apologize.
Yeah, I really like it.
So let's write it down.
I feel like it's a me problem. You know what I mean? It's an I problem. It's my problem. You know, it's nothing to do with them, and I kind of feel there's like sort of, that's their journey and it's nothing for us to solve, but for us to like have fun with the problem, which is not a problem. It's like that's just me. Yeah, I'm just like turning it on its head and making fun of myself, I think. Yeah.
So hyperpeak, you would write.
Sorry, I can't see it. Hold on, I'm just going back to the. Oh, sorry, is someone writing it?
I just wanted to ask. I'm not, but I can. I
go
can
ahead,
do it.
Go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
Is anything happening?
So how are you coping with the AI stuff? I see you chosen something.
Yeah, I think it will be a bot. No.
Yeah, I would just want to say it can be really anything. It can be website, memes, Instagram filters, chatbot, even audiovisual artwork and object. So you are really free to do whatever. But just the goal is to design an entity that can be shared within the digital space with as many people as possible.
Mm.
Or like as many as you can. You don't feel like you need to do something like to please as many people, just like to spark a conversation or maybe try to solve it. You can even upload the pictures from the Google or whatever, what your own. There is this square with the arrow in the left panel. Just like to create a mood board of things that then you will present very shortly.
But what if
I'm
the
just
name
adding
is...
notes. Go ahead and change whatever.
Yeah, just don't find the post-it thing. It's not here. What? Where? Sticky
Wait.
note. Yeah, I found it. What if the name is? Oh no, I lost it. No. See. No. Pity.
Oops.
So what's the product at the end is a bot? At least we. I don't understand.
Also, maybe
It could be, yeah, I guess it's some kind of bot that scrapes images from Instagram and then it scrambles them to create stuff. But yeah, I've just written notes because I'm unable to like multitask on an iPad. But but yeah, feel free to like change it as you feel.
Because yeah, this because hyperpic is doesn't refer to yeah, dick pic. It just doesn't refer to sexualization. Hyper, and it's what's hyper? Sorry for the. I don't have to say sorry. Why is this hyper? Like hyper. Hyper.
Oh, I don't know. I guess that was how someone spelled it, and I just went with that. But
Hype. Or
Yeah, I just went from the exercise 4 that we have.
but I like the hyper. I think it's funny.
And somebody just wrote there like hypersexualized. So I'm just like, okay, let's use this.
I do
like-
like hyper. It's just
no,
like a
it's
play on
my
it.
it's my fault. I guess it was.
No, but
yeah,
it's great.
very
It's a
bright.
great idea. I love it. I love the spelling.
Yeah, but hyper. Okay, hyper. So what's the aim of this boat? So maybe I can write it like boat. Sorry, the table boat. So okay, I have. Yeah, like no. What?
Oh my god.
What's that? No.
you can even draw on the board. I think Kavita, you are using iPad or some tablet.
Yeah, I'm using iPad and I'm touching things and everything's moving. So I'm like, I can't do stuff on this.
I looked at the board, but you can even draw. There is the pencil under the arrow, so you can draw maybe the hyper bodies, or I don't know, just so you have different kind of input. But also just to know, in this AI Superpowers, I called it like this. It's a different viewpoint from the yesterday's workshop, but it's just, these are the stuff that are actually possible. But for a person who doesn't know any AI, it seems like superpower, you know. And so these things are actually possible right now. But many of them, as in the second group, we discussed that they are mostly about people and faces. And that's also the problem, because that's where the biases are creeping in.
Yeah, fashion movement.
We have 2 last minutes before we enter space with all the people. So
That's great. I love.
I really enjoy how creative this can be, because, for example, I am exactly the person that, to me personally, everything is like the superpower, because I'm not at home with AI. So this is, for me, it's just so cool.
I'm super happy.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know what to write. Help.
Oh, sorry.
So I hope the breakout room is finished.
They should.
Yeah.
Yes, they're coming back.
Okay, I think we are all now. So now we have last 10 minutes. So I would like to invite both groups to present, maybe just in 1-2 minutes, to present their concepts. Whoever from the group feels like want to do it, but at least one person. So since we are on the screen from the first group, maybe the team 1 can start. So just like say the name and like what's gonna happen, and maybe also the superpowers that you used.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Go ahead,
Kalita, would you like to explain, because I think that you can do it the best.
Michaela. I think it's fine.
And no, just please go for it.
Okay, I guess we'll go back to what the problem is. So to start with, the problem we started out with was the bias of we all agreed on the bias of hypersexualized bodies, and why we thought it was a problem for us. So, you know, like some of us drew from the idea of being like, you know, people posting, for example, on Instagram, pictures of themselves in a bikini, a hot bod in a bikini, for example. And, you know, like, so we were asking ourselves questions about like, are we really like seeking attention? Do we want validation? Who is that photo really for? Is it for the male gaze? And then the question is sort of like, what is the impact of such imagery on, you know, young women, teens, kids, for example? And then there were other great thoughts, such as, are we reinforcing the power structure online by, this idea of, serving the patriarchy by taking our clothes off. So I guess that's where the problem kind of started. That's kind of the problem definition, I would say. And then, so when we went to the superpowers that we wanted to deal, I guess like our issue, I guess the way I saw it, or the way in discussion, it was like the issue isn't really an issue. Like, people are free to do what they want on this media. And so we sort of moved towards making a fun bot where we actually scrape images. Oh, and we called it, so the concept's called hyperpic, where not a dick pic, but it's really hyperpic, made out of hyper images that are scraped from Instagram, TikTok, other media, for example. And the images are scrambled to actually create sort of like a meta hyper picture of hypersexualized bodies. And these images would be purely nonsensical. They serve no purpose in the world except to make commentary on, I guess, some kind of social commentary on this. Yeah, on hypersexualization on social media, I guess. Yeah, and that was sort of where we were going with this. Yeah, Michaela and Ludovica, please do feel free to add on. Yeah.
I think that you explained it perfectly. Thank you. I
And
have
I think
nothing to add.
you did great during the workshop. I really love to hear your points on this. So maybe now we will have time for the second group, and then we can discuss if we still have time. So the second group, Dominika, Camila, and Alina. So what happened there? I also really enjoyed your conversations. So
yeah, I mean, we discussed a lot. So we had in the end 2 ideas, and we didn't have time to decide which one we wanted to present. But I mean, our what was it? The problem that we identified went more into anthropocentrism, or also Eurocentrism, that we discovered that we all care about. So we thought a bit more about like a sustainable product, or that would highlight maybe the ways we only think about humans. And one of them was an installation, like audiovisual artwork, that would take like data from cameras with like recognition software, but instead of like using faces, Camilla had this idea to maybe then focusing it on other objects, maybe cars, or I don't know, behaviors like throwing things away, or you could also use data from waste bins, and feed that somehow into like visual and audio information, to like highlight how like our anthropocentric biases in the way we live with our environment. Yeah, that's not very concrete. It's a starting point. Shall I go with the second idea, or do you, Camilla or Alina, want to introduce the other one that we talked about? Or
the ideas was like it was like a line of ideas. So we haven't any like strict one idea and second idea, but it was like, okay, and what about this and what about this? But we realized that we have a topic like the sustainability, something like the how to say like the word like to be honest about environment and what we do and what we shouldn't do, and something like about reading the things about things around us, and be more conscious about the environment in the city even. So this was like our point, but we couldn't manage it to the final point, like name or product. Sorry.
But I think it's super cool what the work you did today, both groups. And the point was not to produce like super cool app or whatever the prototype, but the point was like to imagine or to design for a livable futures of further emancipation, or just to think about what we can do in this space to make it better for all of us. And I think you did pretty good, both groups, and I really enjoyed the conversation. And I hope if you had a good conversation with someone, that you keep in touch, or that we keep in touch somehow if we have like intersection of interests, so that we can maybe help each other, or maybe connect and have a chat or do a project together. And also I'm gonna bring you to the last place in Miro. Is it happening? Yes. Yeah, so here I put some of the resources where you can read more on post-cyber feminism or algorithmic bias, digital feminism and stuff, and projects. It is just a little small amount of resources, but the ones, somebody moved my circle, but they're just the ones that you can start off with, and then maybe create some stuff of your own. But also, in any case, please stay in touch and connect with people, because this is the most important part of this workshop, just to find a new people to have a conversation with. And in case you want to keep in touch with me, there are many different ways. So we have 1 minute. I'm not sure if we can go more, but I would love to hear your opinions on this workshop, on these problems, and maybe we can chat on Discord or on social media. So yeah, I think that's it from me. If anyone wants to say anything, you can do it now, or stay silent forever, or write to each other on social media. So that's it from me.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dominika. This was great. I had a lot of fun with this.
Thank you.
It was
Thank you very much.
really nice workshop, Dominika.